Hello friends and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be kicking off a reading challenge that I'm very excited for and also kind of nervous for, because this is in fact the hardest reading challenge that I will ever do. So I've been doing some scrolling around and I came across a couple weeks ago the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, aka Herkyet. I was very intrigued. I was also very intimidated, and I was like, I don't know that I could do that. And then I kept seeing videos, and then I saw Sarah at Freshly Read Books. She posted her very first vlog in which she was beginning Herkyet, and she posted all of her graphics, and I was like, listen, those are really cute graphics. I'm sold. So I will in fact be participating in it. And if you don't know anything about Herkyet, it is the hardest reading challenge you will ever do. It was hosted by Qwerty. Stephanie has put her absolute, she's done a lot, okay? She has put together a very well fleshed out reading challenge here. There is a spreadsheet, there's a website, there are individual graphics, there are videos where she posts stats every month. Like, it is fleshed out, okay? She has done the absolute most to support people who are participating in this reading challenge, which is really good because this is in fact the hardest reading challenge we will ever do. This reading challenge is actually designed to be so hard to complete that it is in fact impossible to complete. I'm intrigued to see what my chances are at successfully getting anywhere close to being passable on this reading challenge, but I do think it will be fun. But the reason that it's so complex to get through is because this reading challenge is made up of reading challenges. Herkyet is actually a bingo board, and that bingo board, each tile on the board consists of individual reading challenges. Some of these reading challenges, easy peasy, some of them not so much. It's the not so much that I'm worried about. So we have a giant reading challenge of mini reading challenges within the reading challenge, meaning that there are individual challenges that make up the reading challenge. You get what I'm saying. We are actually on, technically speaking, version 2 of Herkyet this year. So I'm going to questionably take some of the version 1 prompts, rules, and things and be able to kind of blend it together with a little bit of version 2, just because I didn't ever participate in version 1. There are certain things from version 1 that I would like to do, so I'm not entirely sure the exact semantics and the exact rules and everything of Herkyet that I'm going to be doing, and I think that a lot of those are just going to come along as we go. However, I did manage to download the spreadsheet, and while I was supposed to be editing another video, I went down the rabbit hole. I was like, okay, listen, why could I edit when I could just go down a rabbit hole of filling out the spreadsheet? And that is what I in fact did, which I actually needed to do. If you're new to my channel, first of all, hi, my name is Bailey, welcome. I primarily read fantasy romance. One of my big goals for this year was to read a significant amount more of indie fantasy romance that I have in previous years. So I didn't want to completely sacrifice that goal by participating in a reading challenge. I am not someone who reads for diversity whatsoever. I kind of just read whatever I want to have a silly, goofy little escapism time. But I do think that there is something to be said about promoting that diversity, because reading as a genre does promote empathy, right? If I'm not reading books that promote diversity, what does that say about the empathy that I'm gaining by reading? So I do think that this is going to be a good challenge for me. I don't know how well I will do in this challenge, though. I do think that it's worth a go. I just want to give it a go. So I will go ahead and link not only Qwerty's announcement video for this readathon, but I will also link Sarah at Freshly Read Books, because she did put together some really stunning graphics that I will in fact be using and benefiting from. However, I figured I could very quickly take you through this spreadsheet that I have so lovingly started. So what I did is I sat my happy little booty down. Was I procrastinating editing another video? Yes, absolutely I was. However, I did something that was still productive, so I'm counting it as a go me, yay, win. Anywho's, I figured we could take you through the very rough, very initial, very rough pre-planning stages for Herkyet. I do have a couple TBR things. I'm someone who doesn't do very well with TBRs and very much so a mood reader, but I wanted to be able to have options available. The spreadsheet is built very well to not only track your progress, but also to track potential reads. So without further ado, let's get into it. So obviously we have to start off the spreadsheet with the bingo board tab. I did pull this spreadsheet from the Herkyet 2.0 version. I quite frankly might take some of the 1.0 rules and kind of adjust them to make this easier for myself. And I know that this readathon is supposed to be so hard that you can't complete it, but I do want to adjust some of the rules because I can't and this is my reading journey and I will do what I want to do. Though I do think that being able to edit some of the rules, it's not going to fundamentally change Herkyet as a whole. So I think that's going to be my plan. Do I know what those specific rules are? No. Will we find out as we go? Stay tuned. The spreadsheet is really quite fabulous though, because it will actually link to the individual like sheets. So you can click on like spooky creatures, we can go to the spooky creatures tab. So as I'm actively like working through this readathon, I think that this is going to be a really good reference point. So going through this sheet by sheet real quick, there are multiple sheets that I don't have anything entered for because I feel like they're just gonna be very easy in the moment. I feel like by the hundreds, I will be able to just fill that out as I go. I'm not too worried about finding books for that prompt whatsoever. She says that now, and she'll probably have difficulty completing it later on. And then 24-hour readathon. I'm anticipating doing that sooner rather than later because I want to, in general, do more 24-hour readathons. So we shall see. Then moving into subgenres of choice, I am most definitely going to be obviously doing a fantasy genre. And I'm not actually filled this out yet. We obviously have to have an urban fantasy category. Then, how do you define an adventure I mean, that's a dumb question. Maybe my brain says dystopian. My heart says to be careful because, ooh, I could do like the bone season for that. I think I'll start with dystopian. City of Souls and Sinners, and I'm currently reading, would definitely count for the urban fantasy. Plot, category, definitely not a plot. Category feels better. Technically, subgenre is the word I'm looking for. Maybe like a fairy tale, because I feel like Night in the Moth could count for that one. I do love a paranormal moment. A straight up general fantasy romance category would be good. And I'm feeling maybe sci-fi. We have a guest. And I feel like maybe sci-fi. And then we have the series staircase. I'm also not too terribly worried about what I'm going to read for this one, so we shall fill that out when I get there. Then award season. I'm thinking I will probably do the Goodreads Choice Awards for this year. That feels like the best option given that there is now an entire fantasy romance Goodreads category now. The TBR game challenge, the last 10 years. I yet again am just gonna freeball that one. We will find out what happens when we get there. Adaptations, same thing. And then I did go through the disability challenge. I have a feeling that I will point out and pick out books as I go. I went and found both Owlcrate has a list and metaphors-and-moonlight.com is a blog. They have quite a list, though I do kind of think this will be also something that I just, find as I go. Heritage Months. Heritage Months was something that was one of the like challenge categories you can think of because this is such a number of months here to be looking at that I wanted to have at least a little bit of a backlist. I didn't get to Disability Pride, so if you do have any good disability recommendations, please let a girl know in the comments down below. And then we went into Hispanic Heritage, which for all of these Heritage Months is either the book takes place there or the author is of that heritage or the book is themed around that heritage, so on and so forth. So I did go and pull Tender is the Flesh, which I really want to get more into horror this fall, so I think we're gonna have a really good time. There was actually quite a few Indigenous heritage books that I was very excited to read. So we have Black Sun, The Only Good Indians, which is actually on my physical TBR, which I have been trying to get to. I've read the first like 10 pages or so before, so I would like to get back to reading that book. Then we've got Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. Now it's been a couple days since I made this list. I don't remember anything about it, but this is an inspiration list that I will come to when I'm ready to do so. Then we also have The Shape of Dragon's Breath and Elapso. Then for Black History, there are quite a few books by Kennedy Ryan that I want to get to. Women's History, I feel like we'll get there when we get there. And then Arab Heritage, I really want to read book 2 in the David Bad trilogy, which is Kingdom of Copper. So that is very high on the TBR. For Jewish Heritage, we have Neil Gaiman. First of all, I've wanted to read a couple books by him. Then we have Uprooted, which is also my physical TBR by Naomi Novik. And then I did put a link because apparently Cassandra Clare is Jewish, which is something that I did not know at all. Then we have AAPI Heritage. We've got The Poppy War, Sword of Kaigan, and Jade War, which are all 3 books on my physical TBR that I would like to get to. And then LGBTQ plus Pride, I left that blank for now. We will get there when we get there. Then we have Translation Challenge. Okay, I knew that this is going to be the hardest prompt for me to get to. I did quite a few Reddit searches and quite a few like digging around online to find some of these books. And the books that I ended up pulling were The Witcher, which are translated from Polish, The Mirror Visitor, which that whole series, it's actually a YA fantasy series, and I at one point had book 1 and then I unhauled it. So we might be making a circle back to it. Then we have The Three Body Problem, which is a sci-fi that I could either really love or could really not love. TBD. Your Eternal Lies, Inkheart, Invisible Cities. We've got Roadside Picnic, Our Share of Night, The Strange Beast of China, and Tender is the Flesh yet again. So we shall see what I end up getting it to. But the fact that I was able to pull a list of books that I was interested in at the very minimum, to me was like the confidence that I needed to be able to pursue this readathon, because I was like, I don't know from the get-go. So here we are, and I'm very, very excited about it. Then we have Around the World. I also have a really hard time with Around the World. Not very many fantasy books take place in this world, so I kind of had to look at the authors for some of these. Like, you'll look at Europe. Callie Hart is European, so Brimstone is on this list. Then we also have Jade War in Asia, Empire of the Vampire because Jay Kristoff. I didn't know that he was Australian, so that's cool. And then apparently at some point, maybe at one point, the Midnight Library, they end up in Antarctica. So that's on the list. And circling back to Africa, we have Children of Blood and Bone, The Gildan Ones, Rage of Dragons, which is an epic fantasy that I actually started. I think I got like 20 or so pages into that at some point. And then Kingdom of Copper, which we've discussed already, that I do want to read. Then for South America, we've got Vampires of El Norte, which I feel like would go so hard. And then Tender is the Flesh. Then the Rainbow Challenge, we'll get there when we get there. I think that'll be an easier one to fill in as we go. And then make a quote. Okay, I have not picked a quote for this because the only quote that I just kept thinking about was Memento Mori, and I was like, that's 2 words, and I'm not gonna find a book with Memento in it and then a book with Mori in it. That's not gonna happen. So what you're supposed to do with this prompt is you pick a quote, and then you pick every single word in that quote. You have to read a book with that word in the title. You could look at like Not All Those Who Wander Are Lost. We could take the word lost at the very end. I'd have to read a book with the word lost at the title, and I'd have to continue on with that whole quote, reading a book with that specific word in that title. That was a very not the greatest explanation. So I need to pick a quote. If you have any good quote ideas, let me know, because all I keep thinking about is Memento Mori from Crescent City, and I'm like, girl, or like To Whatever End, and I'm like, I can't really do a 3-word quote or a 2-word quote. So To Whatever End, honestly, could work. So TBD on the specific quote we're gonna do. Spooky creatures. We've got quite a few creatures that I also feel like this is gonna be an easier prompt for me to get to. Though in specific with zombies, I really want to read The Girl with All the Gifts. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So that has been added to the list, though I feel like the rest of these I will just come across as I come across them. Then we have Become the Avatar. I have not done any pre-planning on that at all. Readathon challenge. I do feel like I will naturally get to this point. I ended up participating in both Romantasy-a-thon, Realmathon, Escape the Readathon, The Amazing Readathon. Is that all 4 of them? I think so. So I really enjoy a good readathon, and I do have full confidence that I will be participating in one next year. So I'm not necessarily needing to search for one, though it's here. Our fantasy technically is a readathon. I guess technically it's a readathon. I didn't initially put together a TBR for our fantasy bingo, but like, I kind of want to. I don't know. I need to just like stop biting off more than I can chew and just like calm down a little bit. But like, also, why not? Animals, I feel like I will get to as I go. Queer alphabet, I will get to as I go. My favorite Herkiad prompt, I'll probably do author tours. Does that spell your full name? A local author section, indie. See, we don't have any indie bookstores here yet. There's supposed to be one that's opening in the fall, actually. And then book you bought directly from... Oh, I did in fact read an indie book directly because I bought K.A. Lindy's House of Dragons series and read it when it was indie. So I've got some options here. And then BIPO challenge. This was another challenge that I was like, I wasn't 100% sure how many options I was going to find. And I'm also looking, whenever I went through this list initially and just like threw everything on the list, I did not put down the individual representation. So that is... my bad. However, we do have some options in here. Vampires of El Norte again. The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. Trial of the Sun Queen. The Just Air. I don't know what this link is. Oh, I found, what is this person's name?
You don't have to be a VIP to get more than just savings.
Okay. A Book Circus actually did a video all about romantasy by BIPOC authors. So I thought that that was a very helpful resource. Then we have Mountains Made of Glass, but then also Terror at the Gates. I really want to read it. Like, immediately. So that is on here. We've got Feybound, Vicious Bonds by Schnorr Williams, The Sun, the Storm, the Shadows, That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, A Cowboy to Remember, which like honestly a cowboy romance could be a vibe, and a cowboy romance by a black author, yes please. Then we've got The Only Good Indians, which is Stephen Graham Jones, who actually taught at Texas Tech one point, so I do feel like he counts as a local author as well. And then Kennedy Ryan, again, I want to read some of her romances for sure. Then new releases challenge. I need to hurry up and get to this for July, though I do think that I will get to that pretty easily. I'm thinking that Terror at the Gates, I would love to read. Then I think that is all of it. I can tell you right now, I will not be completing the nonfiction challenge. I do love a good memoir audiobook, and I do think that like Cultish is on my TBR, and that is a nonfiction, but in general, no. That is all of the like TBR, the planning process that's going in at the moment. I think a lot of it is just going to be very willy-nilly, however I feel at the moment, which honestly is more my vibe. I'm so much more of a mood reader than I am ever a TBR person, but I wanted to just like cover all my bases and make sure that I had some options before I committed to a readathon that I for sure wasn't going to be able to complete. So yay. However, I did want to quickly take you through some of the Canva graphics that I will be using, and these are all completely from freshly read books. So first of all, thank you to Sarah for creating all of these. I did go in and edit them a little bit just so that way, mostly just so that way I could put them in the thumbnails of my vlogs and they wouldn't look completely like hers, so I wasn't like a complete direct copier. I basically just changed the color and the font. So these are completely all by her. I will go in and edit. I know her particular bingo board has the prompts for her blend of version 1 and version 2 of the reading challenge that she is doing. So I will have to go in and edit some of the prompts, but I've not made it that far yet. So TBD. And then I do think I'm going to flip the font over on this one because I couldn't decide. If I was going to use the League Spartan font or if I was going to use, what's the other one that I did? This one right here. The Tanglewood font, that one. I did put that font on the other graphics, so I will more than likely be editing these with the League Spartan font because I do think I like that one better. Let's do that now, shall we? That is the font that I have in my thumbnails already, so it just kind of makes sense for me to stick with that. Also, this would have been done way faster if I would have just typed in a number and not clicked the buttons for 87 years. So here we are. Okay. Something like that. So I'm gonna have to fix the spacing on these because I did just change from a font that was smaller to a font that is bigger, but you get the gist here. Also, I am gonna have to get Canva Pro if I end up using these. So you get the gist. Anyways, that is going to be literally the entirety of the planning that will be going into me participating in this reading challenge. I am very excited though. I do think it'll be really fun to look back at the end of the year about all of the completed prompts that I have done. I know there will be, I say end of the year because it's not the end of this year, but it'll be a calendar year from now. So on July 7th of 2026, just to be able to look back and see all of the work and all of the completion that I've actually done. So anyways, if you would like to see me begin to tackle this challenge, don't forget to like this video and then subscribe to my channel for future vlogs. I am currently uncertain exactly how I'm going to do the vlogs for her yet, whether I want to make all of my vlogs and then kind of tally up as I go, or if I would like to put it into a wrap up at the end, or if I want to do a her get specific vlog every month, and then I don't know, we shall see. However, I am very excited to participate in this reading challenge this year. So I'm very excited, but if you have made it this far into the video and wanted to let me know that you were here, go ahead and leave a bird emoji for the exotic pets animals challenge, and that'll work for me. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I will catch you in the next one.